Hello there. This is the second episode of the C++ learning series. This episode is the starting point for the language. We will see how the structure of a C and a C++ file should look like. So let's start with C. In the previous episode, we installed the compiler. The compiler for C is called GCC. The file extension for C is .c. So let's create a new file called main.c. In this file, we will write #include stdio.h as the first line. This line means we are using stdio, which stands for standard input and output. You may get a bit confused now, but don't worry. As we move forward, you will understand everything clearly. Then we write main with opening parentheses and close it with closing parentheses. Then open curly brackets, and after some lines, close them with another curly bracket. Inside them, we will write return 0. Now, what is going on here? This type of writing is for functions. We will learn about functions in future episodes, but inside functions, we can write and run code. The main function is the one that runs automatically when the program starts. So everything inside this main will start immediately after running our program. You may feel a little lost, so simply put, everything we write inside this main will run, and we cannot write code outside of it. The return 0 at the end tells the system that our program finished successfully with no errors. Now we need to write something on the screen, and this is called outputting. It is the second part of stdio, which stands for input-output. Our program, by default, runs without any window, so we need something to see what's happening in the code. By default, the system attaches a console window to each program. Outputting means writing something on that console window. To output something in C, we write printf, then open parentheses. Inside them, we type double quotes. Between those quotes, we write what we want to show. So let's write hello world. At the end, let's put a semicolon. You might ask, why? The semicolon represents the end of a statement. But wait, we didn't use it earlier. In most cases, if a line does not end with parentheses or curly brackets, you must end it with a semicolon. Except for include, you do not put a semicolon there. Now, how do we run the code? To run it, open the terminal and cd to the path of your main.c file. Then type gcc main.c-o main may. If you're on Linux, it will create a file called main without an extension. If you are on Windows, it will create a file called main.exe. Now, if you double-click it, you will just see a window flash for a moment and disappear. This happens because when the program ends, it shuts down instantly. So you cannot see the output because the program closes immediately after it finishes. To actually see the output, run the program inside the terminal by typing /main and you will see hello world on the screen. In future episodes, we will learn more about outputs and more about printf. Now let's move to the C++ files. The compiler for C++ is called G++. The file extension for it is .cpp. Let's create a new file and call it main.cpp. At the first line, I will type #include iostream. This means the same as stdio.h, but it is the C++ equivalent. It stands for the input-output stream. Then we create the main function, just like in C. And now, to make output, we write stdcout smaller than double quotes hello world. Now hold on, what is STD? STD is short for standard, and here it is a namespace. To explain namespaces simply, they are groups that contain certain things. The cout is inside this group, or namespace. By using double colons, we are accessing cout that is inside STD. The double smaller than symbols are part of C++ and are used in streams. What are streams? Streams are things that can store or pass data. The cout, which stands for C output, stores the output. By using double smaller than, we send data into the output stream. Now to run this code, we open the terminal and cd to the path of main.cpp, then type g++ main.cpp-o main. Now run it by typing /main and tada. It's hello world. In episode 0, I said that C++ is C with modern features. So can we use stdio.h and printf in C++? Yes, you absolutely can. If you take the same C code we used before, but compile it with G++ instead of GCC, it will work perfectly. Can we use both at the same time? Something like this, using iostream and stdio.h and cout together with printf. Will it actually work? Absolutely. That code will output hello world from C and C++. So this means that even if C++ has newer equivalents for things in C, it doesn't mean the old features stop working. And it also doesn't mean you can only use one at a time. You can freely use both together if you want. In C++, if you don't want to write the namespace identifier every time, you can add at the top using namespace std. This allows you to use cout directly without writing std each time. This was the second episode where we wrote our first Hello World program in both C and C++. See you in the next episode where we will explore numbers.